but I haven't played video games since like Madden 23 maybe.
Okay.
2K for basketball was like 2020.
Okay.
COVID time was like, we're just inside all day, so I was like, might as well just play some games, pass time.
Yeah, I should have done more of that. I was just trying to make it work. Like it was all new to me. I will tell you my best and favorite purchase of anything. When I found out that the world was shutting down, I ran to Target and I got me a brand new, overpriced modem Wi-Fi thing. Like I got like the Cadillac. Actually, I had the internet guy come out. He's like, "Man, you got the Cadillac." I don't even know what told me to do it. I just got like this thing, and then all of a sudden, all the kids were home. I'm running my business out of my home. We had we were online 4 devices all the time, no disruption. I was like, okay, that was probably the best $100 I ever spent.
During those times, the Wi-Fi.
It was for like 2 years. I was like,
okay.
I was dialed in.
You're locked in. Yeah. Okay, that's good, man. Man of many talents. Welcome back to NABA's very own podcast. I'm your new host, Abdurrahman Farr. I'm the membership coordinator this year, and we have a couple updates. The name, a little bit of a change here if you didn't realize already. Black Excellence, same excellent guests as you can see to the left of me here. I'll introduce him in a little bit. And we're going to have a lot of guests across a variety of industries to give you guys some insights and, share some laughs along the way. And with that, I want to introduce the guest in question. So, also my former professor, Race Power Justice out there. Yeah. Race Power Justice. He has his own consulting company. He's been in the corporate world for over 2 decades.
Yeah.
Worked with Target in the DEI, doing a lot of DEI work, things like that. Todd Williams, thank you for coming out here.
Absolutely. Thrilled to be here and thrilled to see like the success of the program and the things that you're working on. Just beyond like my cup is full by being here, so I'm here for you all. Yeah,
I appreciate that. Yeah. I guess what have you been up to so far? I know school year has kicked off, been couple weeks now. Consulting company.
Yeah, 100%. So this year has been like no other that we've seen. A lot has happened specifically in the DEI space. That level of disruption has really caused many of our corporate clients to just reevaluate how they want to show up. They haven't necessarily removed DEI, but it's looking different. And so that has trickled down to our space because we work with, corporate clients. We work with clients in the medical industry, nonprofits, NGOs. So we still have business, but a huge chunk of it has kind of paused and is spending a little bit more time just evaluating how the DEI is going to live in their world. And so from that part of my day, it's been a little slower, but there's still stuff that's happening all the time. From my professorship or my adjunct work here, I'll be resuming my Carlson work primarily in January, but in the meantime, I'm teaching a course over in CEHD this fall, presentation and workspaces, which aligns perfectly with my degree and kind of what I'm focused on. They had an opportunity, and so I picked that up, and then I'll be doing Race, Power, and Justice in January.
Great class. For all my freshmen, sophomores, definitely a class to look forward to. And it seems like you have a lot of stuff going on. I know, like me personally, being a college student, trying to juggle a lot of things. Like, how do you get good at that? Is that a skill you kind of learn, or compartmentalization, that kind of thing?
Yeah, well, I would say it's a lifelong skill that you will continue to learn. There was a book that I got, because I don't think I was particularly good at it for many years. And I got this book called To Do, Doing, Done. And the essence of that book was about just kind of creating the things that need to get done, things that you think need to get done but really don't need to get done. So it gives you permission to get rid of things off of your to-do list. And then once you have that, you can actually then work backwards.
Mm-hmm.
And so I find myself far less juggling, but more just like a really thoughtful juggle. So I think there's like the jugglers you see like in Central Park or in someplace that are just doing it, not really even looking.
Yeah.
Like they are juggling, but it doesn't seem to stress them out.
At least it looks like it don't stress them out.
But then you got like someone's doing this and they're moving a lot.
Yeah.
Sorry for the camera folks, but you see people moving a lot because they don't have command over what's coming and what they're dealing with. Because that's all juggling is.
For sure, yeah.
Like you're dealing with something, but something else is coming, so you got to put it up.
It's an art. It's an art. It's a sport.
100%.
Like, you know, so that's something that I guess a priority. You don't want to waste time on something low priority like I don't know, cooking, getting McDonald's, staying there for 3 hours when you could be doing some homework and.
Well,
like that, yeah.
have you ever seen there's a 2x2 graph that talks about urgent and important?
Mm.
Have you ever seen that?
No.
So it's a 2x2 graph that talks about importance on the vertical, urgent on the horizontal, and basically you put things into 4 buckets. You put things into urgent and important. You put things into unurgent and important, unimportant and urgent, and then unimportant and unurgent.
Mm-hmm.
And first of all, everything in the lower box
Go ahead, scratch that.
goes right away.
Yeah.
Right away.
Yeah.
The things that are important and urgent, those things have to be done. And then you toggle between the other 2 boxes and saying like, hey, there's things that are urgent, but they're not important. And there's things that are important that are not urgent. And you have to navigate between just those 2 boxes.
I see.
So versus navigating everything, you're just really focused on those two items.
That's a good point. You gotta at least limit some distractions with everything going on. So
100%.
And I guess for the viewers who are not familiar with you,
Yeah.
You are a Carlson alum, so
I am.
Yeah, go first. But I guess obviously you have a very experienced journey across different fields. So for the viewers who are not familiar with you, wanna give them a little introduction and walk us through your journey up until this point.
Oh man, my journey. So first of all, I love my journey.
Yeah.
It is. I talk about it linear, but it's not linear. So I'm gonna go all the way back.
Mm.
So not only am I a Carlson alum, I'm a Minnesota native, right? So I'm from the Twin Cities. I went to Washburn High School from the South Side,
Mm-hmm.
for those that know what that means. And then, believe it or not, I actually started my post-high school career actually in art school.
Mm.
And I was in art school, and I was doing okay, but one of my professors there actually said, hey, you like this part of the commercial art space, you should really investigate marketing as a different thing.
Mm.
And then I moved to Atlanta, Georgia, and I went to a historically black college, university, Morris Brown down in Georgia. And I remember showing up and they're like, well, what do you want to do? And I'm like, marketing, I guess, and I'm going to do that. And so went there. And while I was there, I had this really just chance opportunity to work at Coca-Cola headquarters.
Mm-hmm.
And so while I was doing some work there, I had a mentor and a guy that brought me over to work in Coca-Cola's headquarters, and that really just kind of gave me a taste of the business world.
Yeah.
So when I transferred back to Minnesota and then went to Carlson, I was on this path. I was like, okay, this is what we're doing. And a lot of the things that you all are experiencing here wasn't here. So Carlson was a major that was out of the management economics building, which is right above Lagan Hall.
It didn't have its own school. It just,
So
okay, wow.
So this wasn't a thing. So to really date myself, I got involved.
Mm-hmm.
So I was very involved with the Business Association of Multicultural Students today. At the time, it was called the Business Association of Minorities, and we were just into everything. And so that put me on the business board. And so what I would say, even for the folks in NABA or anywhere, like get involved, because the things that you're going to learn there are going to carry you forward. To finish my story.
Yeah.
Business board, we actually were in the process of building the Carlson school, and so we were making some decisions over there in the early 90s to what that school was ultimately going to look like.
Wow.
So from there, I started my career in sales. I was working for Procter Gamble. I worked there for close to 5 years, and I really, in all honesty, even though I was a marketing major, I had no clue to who Procter Gamble was. I remember when they came onto campus, my buddy said, "Oh, you should interview with Procter Gamble." I'm like, "I'm in business, my man. I'm not going to work for a law firm."
That's
and
how it
they're
be.
like,
There's so many companies.
yeah, they're like, I was like, "I'm not working for no law firm."
Yeah.
And they're just like, "No, it's not a law firm. It's a business company." I was like, "Okay." So, anyways, I worked for them for close to 5 years. And after I did my research, I realized that was going to be one of the best places for me to get training and skills with an organization that was actually going to help my long-term career. And so I went to work there for, like I said, close to 5 years, and then I went to work for Target, and then I found my jam. Like, I was running businesses. I ran part of the infants business. I ran the cookware business. I ran the storage business. As we mentioned a little earlier, I ran the video game business. I ran the video business. And then another just chance opportunity that I had to run Target's multicultural merchandising business or segmentation, where across the country I was focused on ensuring that the right products were in the right stores, and that if you were in Miami, it felt like Miami, it didn't feel like Minnesota. Right? If you were in New York, or if you were in Los Angeles or San Francisco, I would adjust the assortment that were going to be more relevant for the segments.
Yeah, a lot of factors.
That were shopping
Audience,
there.
yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. Wow.
And then, then I moved to the diversity inclusion space before leaving Target and starting my own business.
For sure. Yeah. Yeah. Very seasoned. It's many experiences. It sounds like, and I guess we'll dive a little deeper into those. And I guess now is a good segue to go into the core discussion for our episode.
Yeah.
You kind of touched on it with a lot of your corporate experience, the DI experience with Target, and as well as, Procter Gamble and things like that. So from your experience, being in a leadership position at Target, also at Carlson too, leading a bunch of students, what does inclusive leadership, I should say, really look like in practice?
So inclusive leadership, so I break it down to this. I think leadership is a misused and misunderstood word. Mm-hmm. And so I think a lot of folks that find themselves directing paths for others are actually managing. I think inclusive leadership is really about understanding your team, understanding the needs, and there's so many variations of needs that are out there. I think an inclusive leader understands what this person needs, what that person needs, what that person needs, and delivers outcomes and objectives via individual needs versus saying like, hey, this is where we're going, everybody do it this way, because everybody may not approach it the same way. Yeah. And so I think an inclusive leader is really, really in tune to the needs of individuals and is really gifted and skilled at working, what we'd say, kind of working across difference. So it's one thing to recognize that we're all different. Easy. It's a different thing to understand that this person's difference is going to feel different than this person's difference, and you got to pull that together. And so someone had asked me a question earlier today about how to navigate across, a political, people have different political ideologies and perspectives, and like, how would you do that in the real world? And I'm like, okay, we need to understand what's at stake. There's nobody's point of view that's necessarily wrong, but you still need to work together to get something accomplished. And so how do you understand that you can challenge the ideas, you can challenge perspectives, but you can't associate that with the people, because you got to work with those people day in and day out. And someone may have an idea or a point of view that's different than yours, and it's okay that you respectfully hear them out. You don't have to adopt their idea.
Yeah, you can still work with them and have a successful.
100%.
Yeah.
And so I think inclusive leaders do that better than non-inclusive leaders.
Yeah, for sure. I think it all, I don't want to say boils down, but a big part of that is like team chemistry, knowing the personalities of each person. Someone may react to something one way, kind of like you were touching on. So
100%.
Yeah.
And that's a skill.
Yeah, skill you got to learn for sure. And I guess, of course, through these leadership experiences, you for sure obviously had a lot of, experience when it comes to working these kinks amongst different people.
Yeah.
So if I can ask for you to share one moment in your career where I guess inclusive leadership made a clear difference in someone else's career or even your own.
Yeah. So, boy, there's probably too many to count. I would just say, again, you know, I've found myself on teams and specifically like big project teams where you're bringing folks together from different parts of the organization. So I led a project in a team where we were doing a project down in San Antonio, Texas, but we were based out of Minnesota, right? So we needed to get everybody on the same page as to everything that we were doing. So we had a group from marketing, we had a group from operations, we had a group from logistics, we had finance folks, and everybody had to understand what was happening. Again, as an inclusive leader, they all have their own individual work teams that they're managing as well. And so it's not necessarily a personal example, but it is, because I needed to work with them individually to find out, like, okay, what's your objective? What role do you want to play in the success that we're about to enjoy here? How do you pull people in and kind of understand what that looks like? And that helped a ton. I will tell you, one of the harder conversations I ever had to have was, you know, I asked someone, I said, you got to tell me how you get paid, right? I get paid to deliver this objective. And then, you know, someone's like, well, you know, I get paid to support the team that's doing the thing. I'm like, okay, well, from the way you're showing up in these meetings, you're not supporting, right?
You ain't supporting.
If you get paid to support, and this is what we're doing, and you're not supporting, to your point, like, okay, we need to have a different conversation. And sometimes, you know, an inclusive leader, as a leader, you have to have hard conversations. Like every conversation is not going to be good. You have to be prepared to have a hard conversation. But knowing when and how to engage someone in a hard conversation so they still feel heard, right? Hard conversations is not about everybody feeling good. But even when you're in relationships, as long as people feel heard, you stand a chance. The worst thing you can do is to get into an argument and try to talk over someone or talk someone down. I have not found that to be successful.
That's when you start losing the plot.
You start losing the plot, right? So it's like, hey, tell me what's going on. Tell me where we're at from an impasse standpoint, and we'll take it from there.
For sure, yeah. It's not like putting a whole bunch of puzzle pieces together. One mishap, and now the whole thing is you got to restart. So I think it's a delicacy. I guess also when it comes to leadership, obviously there's a lot of skills, especially navigating a bunch of different personalities and things like that. So from your experience and your journey, what skill would you say has been the most beneficial? I don't mean to put you on the spot, but if you had to pick one skill that you believe is the most beneficial when it comes to being a successful leader.
I'm biased. But I'll say communication. I think as a leader, getting everyone on the same page is the way that things get done, right? And communicating effectively, like, I don't know if you have studied What's in It for Me, or they call it the WIFM, like understanding what motivates people, why people are doing, like, there's so many things that go back to that 2x2 quadrant, right? There's so many other things that people could be doing. People are prioritizing all the time. And so for them to either choose to follow your lead or follow their direction, or sometimes they're paid to, right? Understanding what motivates them is how I have found it the best way to get the most out of a situation or a conversation. So I think that is key. People my feeling is, will invest when they're clear on the destination, they're clear on the goals, and they're clear on the role that they play to achieve those goals. I, again, have found that successful. And while I'm not trying to minimize critical thinking or planning or all those things, because I think you need that, but I would say the secret sauce, in my humble opinion, is communicate, especially if you're leading. If you're a leader, I think it really boils down to communication.
Communication. Y'all heard it here first.
Y'all
better fix your communication skills, start talking, do whatever y'all got to do. But Yeah, I think even like from my experiences in college, communication is like proved to be very beneficial. I think sometimes people just the journey's blurry to them, so that what's steering them away. But once you communicate, get through the kinks, to get through the swamp, I feel like people start buying in way more. So I'm sure you can speak to that as well.
100%.
I guess another thing I wanted to kind of talk about in our other part of the core discussion is obviously being very experienced in corporate culture. It's not a secret that people like us, people who look like us, are not very prevalent.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess when it comes to navigating corporate culture as a person of color, what were some of the biggest challenges that you faced personally, and how did you overcome those challenges?
So, great question.
Mm-hmm.
I would say, and I'm just going to give you my unvarnished point of view,
Yeah.
and that is, I would say many of the barriers that I ran into
Mm-hmm.
were self-inflicted wounds, right? There were things that either I brought to the atmosphere or that I was trying to understand and navigate and not fully understanding. So I'll give you an example. I'll just keep it real.
Mm-hmm.
I gave away a lot of power. So I'd be in a situation and I would know, like, that's not going to work. Like, I would know that.
Yeah.
And I'd be like, okay, but all these people around me that don't look like me are betting on this, and they all think it's going to work. and I'm new to the corporate space. Like, this ain't
What do
my,
I know?
Like what do I know?
Yeah, type
And
thing,
so I sit back and I'm like, okay, and then it doesn't work.
yeah.
So I gave away my power,
Mm.
right, to something, and then when I'm sitting down with my boys after the fact, I'm like, can you believe these people? Like, they did this, they did
Who talking about this, that? Yeah.
And so
I got
then
you, yeah.
I kind of ascribed my identity because it was different than their identity.
Yeah.
And so I kind of created those tensions, so to speak,
Yeah.
right? And I would run into things, and if things didn't necessarily go my way, my first thing is like, okay, that's happening because of this.
Yeah.
That's happening because of this. And I'm not saying some of it wasn't there, right? But then what I wasn't doing in that moment is to say, like, okay, what's my contribution to that? Like, how am I showing up to actually neutralize those moments? And a really good book to read for any of the listeners and watchers is Good Is Not Enough by Keith Weiss. I strongly recommend that book because I love his analogy. He talks about in high school or whatever, I played a lot of street basketball. I was out there. I thought I was Michael Jordan, right?
He was a hooper.
I was a hooper. I was.
You had to put it to the test one.
Oh man! Oh, we can do it right now, right? Like I'm old and gray, but I still
got it.
I still got it, right?
All right.
So, but what Keith talks about in this book that I really love is he talks about playing street hoops.
Mm-hmm.
And for those on your listeners or folks watching, like when you're playing street hoops, like you kind of go to different neighborhoods and you play hoops and you play 21. There's a game called 21. And what's interesting in one neighborhood, right, every shot counts as 1 point. Right? Every shot counts as 1 point. Regardless of where you shoot it, everything counts as 1 point.
That's from where they can't shoot the 3 ball, so they
right? They can't. Right? So everyone does that.
Yeah.
You go to a different court, they're like, hey, if you shoot behind this line, it's 2 points. You shoot behind this line, it's 3 points.
Yeah.
Like it's this whole thing. And I was like, okay, where's he going with this? Right? Like that's just what it is. He said, no. He said, you have to understand, even when you're entertaining a bunch of different organizations and companies, you got to understand the rules of that company, right? It's hard to go to a place, if I'm a long ball shooter, and get mad if I'm shooting over here that they're only giving me 1 point. Man, they're only giving me 1 point. Like I'm a victim now, right? They're only giving me 1 point. Where the rules in that court is, we don't care where you shoot, you're going to get 1 point. You go somewhere else and you shoot behind the line, you're going to get 3 points. And so when you're making decisions, because at some point, your listeners and your watchers are going to be talking to these companies that are going to come to campus and they're going to want the great talent that's here. You have to discern the right culture and the right team where you can thrive. And that's a slightly different approach of saying that, like, hey, this happened to me because of my identity, right? And it took me a while to figure that out. And then once I figured it out, I found my ability to navigate the corporate culture. I found much more success once I figured that out. And then I wasn't the victim, and then I was in control of the chessboard a little bit more.
Yeah.
Right? And then I was able to use my identity a little bit different. Right? And can I go on a sidebar?
Yeah,
I'll tell you this story.
That's weird for you.
When I was in, I'll say grade school, it's probably high school, right? I was always getting in trouble. I was knucklehead, man. I was always getting in trouble. And then I was always like, the teacher was like, Todd, man. And I was like, man, I'm like, these people are doing the same thing I'm doing, but they're not getting in trouble.
I used to have that same mindset. I can't even lie to you.
Right? Like, I'm not getting in trouble. And then one day it hit me. I'm like, or someone told me, I think someone told me one, they're like, you're 6'4" black guy that stands out from everyone else, right? Mm-hmm. The teacher sees you. She's not, everyone else is just kind of like in a soup of sameness. Yeah. Right? But you're the one they can see because you stand out above everyone else, so on and so forth. Right? And I was like, yeah, that's probably it, right? While I'm sitting in the principal's office. Right? And then it hit me. Oh, I can turn that into a superpower. So then I'm like, when I enter a room, right, I'm differentiated. So if I bring heat, if I bring like better skills, everything else like this, guess what? They're gonna remember me. They're gonna, like, I just took that same thing and I flipped it because there's a lot of sameness out there. And if you can find your way to differentiate yourself amongst a bunch of sameness and you're doing good work, right? Boom. You can elevate in those moments, and that's one of the things I kind of put in my pocket on navigating the corporate landscape. And it started off because I was a knucklehead. Yeah. If I wasn't a knucklehead, I never would have got that insight, but I had to kind of go through that so I could be like, okay, if they're going to look at me different, then I just need to like perform and just excel.
Might as well make them look at me good.
Yeah.
You know, yeah, that's a good point.
And then it's on and popping.
Yeah. Hey, perspective matters.
Yeah.
Perspective really. That's like you could look at one thing and it could be the end of the world. You just change your outlook, like you were talking about. And now you're like happiest man on earth. So
100%.
Yeah.
It's called the reframe. Reframe
for sure. And I guess for a bunch of college students out here, especially being at a PWI, what advice would you have for college students who even entering workplaces or just in their college classes who feel out of place or out of touch? What advice would you have for them?
So I'm gonna give you a bunch of books. Mm-hmm. There's Walter Bond. He's one of my fraternity brothers, very good friend, world-renowned speaker. Mm-hmm. He has this book called Swim, and in the book you have to read it, but I'll give you one of the main punchlines. Is he talks about, it's this parable about this person that's kind of coming to the decision point. And in the decision point, if he hears this, I didn't know that I wasn't supposed to tell, right? But in the decision point, like one of the signs says fear is faster. It says fear is faster. And I would say if I gave some advice to a college student, I would say fear is faster. Lean into the uncomfortableness of a moment or a situation and have that propel you to whatever degree of greatness that you seek. And I get there because there were more than a few times in my life where I let my fear keep me away from opportunities. Like, oh, I don't know what that is. I don't know how that's gonna play out. I ain't gonna do that, right? And the reality is, you never know how anything's gonna turn out. Like, you never know. And so I'll tell you, this is a real story. I get my coffee from Dunn Brothers, and there's a group of people that do not look like me, do not have anything in common with me, anything like that, that go to this coffee shop. They have a coffee club every morning. They're like, oh, you should come sit with us sometime. Yeah. I'm like, I ain't doing that. Yeah. And then literally a week and a half ago, I was in a community conversation with men of color. And we were talking about something similar, like what will we do? And one of the things we concluded is to say, like, hey, we need to find ourselves in spaces that are unfamiliar, uncomfortable, and different than where we are. And it had me thinking real time. I said, I'm gonna go and introduce myself to those people, right? We have, like, observably, there's nothing in common with us. And I kid you not, I went this morning, I was on my way over to campus, and I said, hey, let me introduce myself. And I met 3 of them. That they didn't have the whole table there when I was there.
Mm-hmm.
And it was cool, and then I left. And I was like, okay, well, now I have something in common and different people that I can like jam with. And so to get to your question, sorry about that, is I would say, lean into the uncomfortableness, right? Join a student organization, right? Join a student organization that looks nothing like you, right? So you can be part of NABA, you can be part of BAM, you can do a number of things, but you might find yourself being part of the chess club or being part of the this or that, something that has wholesale nothing to do with anything, and that will open some doors. The other thing I'll tell you, I'm gonna give you all the tea on this one. When I was at Target, one of the things that people were like, man, you know a lot of people. Like what's going on? And I was like, well, I really don't know that many people. And I was thinking about, the getting in trouble in high school and stuff. And then I realized I was volunteering. And at Target, volunteering, number one, had a very different place. But the volunteer activities brought people from so many different places and so many backgrounds. And then it also lets you know the people that were saying that they wasn't volunteering or they didn't have the same kind of network, but people were often amazed that like I knew people, and it's not because I had this secret charter, I was doing something. I just like to get involved, right? It's like I would find myself giving back, and when you give back, it's real talk. You get more from giving back than whatever you're doing, whether you're feeding folks or whether you're cleaning houses for the elderly, like whatever it is. I would just say continue to give back. There's more than enough need out there, and it's one of the things specifically when you're navigating, like the corporate world is stressful. College is stressful. There's a lot of stressful things, and believe it or not, what I found when I was giving back, I wasn't thinking about none of this other stuff. I was just kicking it. I was just doing this, cleaning up. Man, we cleaned up, now that I think about it, we cleaned up this pretty much toxic site. And people are like, man, you seem so excited about it. I'm like, hey.
Yeah, the hazmat suit on and everything?
I didn't.
Oh, okay.
I had no idea. I probably got some issue because of it, right? But like I was excited, man. We brought donuts. We're like, hey, we're gonna clean up this thing today, and we rolled them up and we got after it.
You get some good food in front of me, man. I'll do.
Hey, real talk, right? Like all I need is a jelly donut and some orange juice, and I'll make it happen. Jelly.
Maybe some glazed chocolate sprinkled.
Whatever it is. Like I can rock with that.
For sure, yeah.
I can rock with that. I really don't like jelly. I like custard a little bit better, but 6 o'clock in the morning you're cleaning up a dump. Like, give me some jelly, give me something, give me some sugar to get the thing started, and then we'll be healthy afterwards.
For sure, yeah. So now we're gonna transition into our final segment. We're gonna switch it up a little bit here.
Okay.
So I'm gonna ask you some rapid fire questions, and first thing that comes to your mind, I want to hear the answer, whatever it may be.
Whatever it may be.
All
right.
You ready?
Yeah, 100%.
So first, coffee or energy drinks? Coffee or energy drinks?
Coffee.
Okay. Solo adventures or group hangouts?
Group hangouts.
Group hangouts. Okay, it's a little different because you're a professor. Or 8 a.m.s or 5 p.m.s? 8 a.m.s or 5 p.m.s? Which class would you rather teach?
Oh, 8 a.m.
8 a.m.s?
Yeah.
You must be an early riser.
I get up at 4 every day. I start 4 o'clock every day.
Okay, that's different.
Yeah.
Lose sleep or skip a meal?
Lose sleep.
Okay. Work from home or in office?
I don't know. That's a toss up.
Pros and cons to each, but
it's pros and cons. I mean, I work out of my house.
Yeah.
I mean, primarily, right? So I work out of my house. I love it.
Yeah.
I'm currently in the middle of a project, so my office is kind of jacked up. But sorry, I know it's rapid fire.
No, that's good. Yeah. So.
But I like to work from home. but I like to be in the office. I like people.
Yeah.
So I like to be around people. So I could do either one.
Either one? Okay. I'll give you that. Owe money or own a favor? Owe a favor. Excuse me.
Owe a favor.
Owe a favor? Okay, this is an important one. You're just talking about donuts. Go-to snack during crunch time.
Go-to snack during crunch time? Food.
Nah, that's too broad, but what kind of food? We going burgers, fries?
Well, it depends on what kind of crunch time it is.
Okay, I'll paint a scenario for you. You have a project that needs to get done in the next 24 hours. Presentation needs to be, pretty neat. What food are you going to go through to help you get through that?
I don't know. I'm gonna say a Snicker bar because
Snickers?
Yeah,
Snickers my favorite
100%,
too.
right?
I
would say if I was, but that's more like if I'm running or something like that or something. My blood sugar's low. You gotta rock that. But yeah, but food,
food?
I said, I'm not gonna miss a meal. I probably should miss a few, but no,
Yeah.
I'm gonna do that.
So okay, this is the last one right here.
100%.
Favorite college memory in one word. No, it's probably a lot of them.
Favorite college memory in one word. There's two that are in my mind, but
Okay.
you're only giving me one, so I'm gonna say step show.
Step show?
Yep.
I guess, hey, all the viewers, y'all can try to decipher what kind of memory that is. Step show, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Step show, but let me give you number two because
Okay.
that's my favorite Carlson memory.
Uh-huh.
Is I'm gonna say wheelchair.
Wheelchair, okay, I can only imagine, bro.
I can tell you.
Oh, go ahead, yeah. I don't know if you wanted to.
Oh yeah, I'll tell you both of them.
Yeah.
So the wheelchair. So I was part of business board, and they did this thing. It's interesting because I found myself in inclusion spaces even when it wasn't a thing.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the things they had us do, they said we had to spend a whole day in a wheelchair. And it was interesting. There's maybe, 20 people on the business board, and not everybody took it serious.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
That's the thing. I was like, okay, we're going to do this thing.
I'm going to role play the full thing.
We're going to do the whole thing.
Yeah, for sure, yeah.
And it really changed my vantage point. Like, there's things that I think about, like, back in the day, how fast an elevator closes, I had no idea.
Mm-hmm.
You see those little bumps at the corner, when the thing goes down.
Yeah, at the end of it, like a sidewalk.
Yeah, the end of the sidewalk,
yeah.
right? You're like, okay, what's that? Boom! I now know if it's a slushy day, and you don't have those bumps, you're stuck. And the number of people that will walk by you while you're doing this, they'll walk by you, and so I did it for a day, and I've never claimed to have full sync with folks that are confined to a wheelchair. Never would claim that. But that was an empathy moment and an empathy exercise that, number one, I went through, and then I was able to understand. Like most of my day job work, we spend talking about creating empathetic moments, like for people to really embrace inclusion, belonging, equitable outcomes. They have to somehow feel the thing, even if it's not the thing. So I tell people all the time, like you don't have to feel what I'm feeling, but I want you to feel something similar and draw upon that from your own experience.
Yeah. And putting yourself in other people's shoes
100%.
can go a long way. And now to end it off with a bang here, so one final question. It's a solo shot here. So essentially, you're going to be talking to your future self here.
Okay.
We're going to give you this your camera over here, and you're talking to your future self, say 5 to 10 years from now. And where do you hope to see yourself? I guess any words that you want to look back on into your future self.
Outside of retirement, if I were to talk to my future self, and I think about my business, and I think about the thing that we're doing, we have a business, but our business is actually helping people to understand the power of difference. And if I were thinking like 5 years from now, we'd be back moving as a country towards really understanding how differences can help us do more, and I envision that the business is so robust that we are consistently working across the country, right? So we work in California sometimes and the East Coast sometimes, but it's very spotty.
Yeah.
But then it would be like really there's a steady stream of folks that are trying to harness the power of difference to kind of fuel their organization, drive economic outcomes, and they're really kind of interested and focused on doing better. And it's kind of a little murky right now because there's a lot of headwinds and a lot of noise out there, but I would envision in 5 years the fog is kind of gone, and in 10 years we're really operating in full stride.
For sure. Anything, I guess, in your personal life, any goals you have for yourself in 5 to 10 years?
Man, I love to be a little bit more healthy.
A little bit more.
I'd love to be a little bit more healthy.
Gotta loosen up on the donuts.
Yeah, jelly donuts
Jelly
and
donuts.
custard donuts. You
Yeah.
know, more than anything, it's just, you know, I like to walk. I like to walk, and you know, I try to get out there pretty regularly. It's been a hard summer with campfires or the forest fires up in Canada and stuff. So I'd be outside a little bit more, really enjoying my kids' success. You know, I got 2 kids. One's in their 4th year, one's in their 2nd year, so they should hopefully be done with college, maybe doing some advanced degree work. But I just love to just kind of enjoy them differently, and hopefully the business is doing all that it can do.
Hey.
And I'm continuing to do this. So my why is to help young people realize their potential, and that is my why. So
For sure.
that's why I'm here.
Hey.
You know, I like to walk. I like to walk, and you know, I try to get out there pretty regularly. It's been a hard summer with campfires or the forest fires up in Canada and stuff. So I'd be outside a little bit more, really enjoying my kids' success. You know, I got 2 kids. One's in their 4th year, one's in their 2nd year, so they should hopefully be done with college, maybe doing some advanced degree work. But I just love to just kind of enjoy them differently, and hopefully the business is doing all that it can do.
Hey.
And I'm continuing to do this. So my why is to help young people realize their potential, and that is my why. So
For sure.
that's why I'm here.
Hey, we appreciate you being here.
100%.
And listen, more blessings, more success to your kids and your future self 5 to 10 years from now.
100%.
And listen,
to you as well. 'Cause
I appreciate it.
You're gonna knock it out.
I
Like you
appreciate
talked
it.
about working on communication. Man, you got this.
Hey, I'm trying. But yeah, with that, we're going to wrap it up here. We really appreciate you guys listening and watching. And yeah, tune in for the next one. Thank you.